we have with us Vidwan Abhinand Sharma ji joining us from Bangalore, and he will be speaking on characteristics of a Jnani as per Sureshwaracharya's Panchikarana Varttika. Thank you, Vidwan Abhinand ji, for making time for this session. Thank you very much. Abhinand, just a brief introduction. Abhinand ji is a learning and content development professional. He is currently working as a training manager in an MNC. He is a student of Vedanta for the past 2 decades and he is learning under Vidwan Sri V. Subramanian ji. Apart from Vedanta, Abhinand ji has also studied Rigveda Samhita and the Vedangas. He holds a dual master's degree in engineering and chemistry, and he is also a qualified lawyer. Again, thank you for making time, Abhinand ji. Please go ahead and start your session.
Namaste everyone. Namaste Nitin ji. Thank you for the introduction. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paranparam. Sharda Shardam Boja Vadana Vadanam Buje Sarvada Sarvada Smakam Sannidhim Kriyat Vishwam Maya Mayatvena Rupitam Yat Prabodhitaha Vishwancha Yat Swarupam Tam Vartikacharya Mashtraye. Welcome to this final session of the symposium on Bhagavad Pada Sri Sureshwaracharya, who has written a wonderful expository gloss on various commentaries and other granthas of our Advaita Parampara. So I will be giving a brief talk on the characteristics of a Jnani as entailed in Panchikarana Varttika. Panchikarana is a small prakarana text authored by Bhagavad Padacharya, and Srimad Sureshwaracharya has blessed us with a Vartika for the same. So before we begin, I would like to draw reference to a small Bhashya Vakya from Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, where in the second chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita prajeta kim. So he asks Arjuna asks Krishna, as to what are the true qualities or true characteristics of a Jnani, of a true Jnani. What are his characteristics? How do we find out that someone is a Jnani? Though outwardly it might appear that this is a mechanism from which we can find out who is a Jnani and who is not, but the case is, the question is posed in a different sense, in the sense that is enlightened in the Bhashya of Bhagavad Padacharya. So he says, Sarvatraiva hi adhyatma shastre kritartha lakshanani yani tanyeva sadhanani upadishyante yatna sadhyatvat. So he tells that in the whole of our Shastras, wherever there is a characteristic feature given of a Jnani, they are also the characteristics which must be imbibed, qualities which must be imbibed by a person who seeks this Jnana. So it is not only the characteristics of a Jnani, it's also the list of the qualities or traits which a seeker must have to get this Atma Jnana. So because only by having these traits, though initially it might look like an outward imitation, like say ahimsa, for example, is a guna which a Jnani has, and this ahimsa a Jnani will otherwise also have. There is no point enlisting a list of qualities of a Jnani to a Jnani itself, right? A Jnani need not know what are true characteristics of a Jnani or anything like that. But a person who wants to become a Jnani, who wants this Adhyatma Jnana, must and should have these traits. So for such a person, these qualities have been listed even in Bhagavad Gita and of course in Panchikarana and in the Vartika also it has been given. So by knowing these qualities, though initially it might look like an imitation, you might imbibe these qualities and it might look very outwardly, and it may also sometimes appear like fame, but gradually when we progress in this path, we realize that these qualities become a part of us. and we are endowed with these qualities, and it's not something which has to be obtained from somewhere outside. So with this, I will start with the shloka of the Panchikarana Varttika. Of course, Panchikarana is a grantha based on which is, the topic entailed in this grantha is Panchikarana, a process in which the Sukshma Panchabhutas, that is the five elements of nature, in their intrinsic form become the extrinsic form which we all see, perceive, and hear, and which are appearing in front of us. So the air which we see is formed by the Sukshma Vayu and a mixture of the other four Sukshma Tattvas, that is the Sukshma Prithvi, Sukshma Jala, Sukshma Agni, Sukshma Akasha. So like this, each and every element, gross element, is formed by the combination of this intrinsic elements. So this procedure is outlined in the Panchikarana text. Of course, it's also mentioned in Shrutis and all those places. However, at the end of it, there is also a list of characteristics of Jnani. So here I start with the 55th shloka. यः पश्येत् सर्वगं शान्तमानन्दमात्मानमद्वयं न तेन किञ्चिदवाप्तव्यं ज्ञातव्यं वावशिष्यते. So, Pujya Vartikacharya Sureshwaracharya ji tells us that one who perceives his own self, the Atman, as a peaceful, blissful, Shantam, Anandam, Advayam, non-dual form. One who perceives himself to be the non-dual self, which is source of pure bliss, such a person who is an Atmajnani need not achieve anything, need not accomplish anything, nor does he need to give up on anything, because he has attained what has to be attained. Natena kinchidaptavyam jnatavyam bhava shishyate. Neither he has to know anything, nor is there any requirement for him to learn anything or unlearn anything, because he has attained his Purna Swarupa, his complete form. So we otherwise we are in the state of ajnana because we feel ourselves to be apurna. That is, we feel ourselves to be incomplete. We need something that will make us feel that we are complete. For example, a person would feel that by buying a car or buying a house maybe would make him complete, right? And that would give him everlasting happiness. But that is not the case, because once we purchase the car or the house, the very next moment our mind goes behind some other material object. So because of this dissatisfaction or the feeling of incompleteness, if I can put it that way, we are in this samsara, we are in this misery called the samsara. So to come out from this misery, the only route is this Advaita Jnana Marga. It says that you are the Purna Vastu, you are the complete entity, sentient entity, from which every other object is getting generated, and this Srishti Sthiti Laya is happening within this sentient entity itself. So once we realize that, we will realize that we also don't need anything to complement us or supplement us or make us happy. We don't need anything external to us. We are in ourselves the true nature of happiness, the true nature of Ananda. Further, he tells, कृतकृत्योः भवेद् विद्वान् जीवन्मुक्तो भवेत् सदा आत्मन्येवारूढभावः जगतेतन्न पश्यते. So this person, such a jnani, he feels that there is nothing to accomplish from his end. Neither has he got any activity to perform, or even if he performs any activity, it is for lokasangraha or is for the upkeepment of his own body. So only for such activities he engages in any action. Otherwise, there is no action required from him. There is no action expectant from him. And even if he does any activity, it would be for the welfare of the mankind. So, Kritakrityo bhavet vidvan jivan muktah bhavet sada. Though he is alive, he is very much alive, he has attained this knowledge that he is the Atman, he is not the Sharira, he is not the body. So the moment someone kills us, or rather someone cuts off my hand, say for that example, I would immediately cry out that my hand is cut. I will never tell that I am cut, right? That is because we for sure know that the I is never going to get cut. So I is a Purna Vastu. The Atma inside is the Purna Vastu. We can never think of an situation where it will be cut or divided into two. In the previous sloka, like how Acharya has told that Advayam, this Atma is not a non-dual nature. That is, there are no two Atmas, or there is no one separate Paramatma and one separate Jivatma, or even within an Atma, there is no half an Atma or quarter Atma. There is no fraction of Atma as well. This Atma is one single sentient entity. That is what the Shrutis also proclaim. So this person who feels complete is a Jivan Mukta. He is alive, very much alive, as much as we all are. But at the same time, he has given up this thought that he is the body mind complex, and he is dwelling, he is abiding in his own self. Then Atmanyeva Arudha Bhavaha Jagadetanna Vikshate. Such a person doesn't see the world. That's the literal meaning of this sloka, this last phrase of this shloka. But what it means is he'll definitely see. If he sees a lion, he will definitely be seeing. If we see a lion, he'll also be seeing a lion. But what he would internally understand is it is a projection of his own Atma in a form of a lion. So this Nama and Rupa, the name and form, is different for every being, but the internal being, if I can put it that way again, is the Atma alone, which is common to the whole Jagat. Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktiresha Brahmaiva Satyam Sakalan Jagatcha Anantaropa Sthitireva Mokshos Brahmadvitiyeti Shrutayaf Pramanam. In Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavad-Padacharya says that staying in this Anantarupa, staying in this pure, undiluted consciousness that the Atma is the Brahman and Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. That is, this whole, everything what we see or perceive is a form of this Brahman only, is what is true moksha as per Vedanta. So, coming back to this shloka, he says this: such a Jnani doesn't observe the world the way we all observe the world. We all would observe the world with duality. I would say that this is me, Abhinand, and this is a piece of paper, and this is a computer or something like that. But a Jnani, though he would definitely identify the differences between all these objects, he would still say that all this have a common substratum called the Atman, and that is common to all these. That's what a Jnani will know. And this is a quality which we, as a sadhaka, as a person who is in pursuit of seeking this knowledge, must imbibe in ourselves. Kadachit vyavahare tu dvaitam yadyapi pashyati bodhatma vyatirekena na pashyati chidanvayat. So even by chance, or even if, for example, if a Jnani has to engage in any activity, he will have to come and accept to this dual nature of the Jivatma and the Paramatma, but he will perceive it only for the Vyavahara, for the work or the action which he has to do with this material object. Moment he is done with this object, he would definitely get back to his true form, that is the non-dual form. This again is a quality which Pujya Vartikacharya tells that we should imbibe in ourselves, that even if we perceive Dvaita, we are forced, because there is no way of escaping this Dvaita so long as we are alive, unless we have this Atma Jnana, right? So once we get this Atma Jnana, we are free of this Dvaita Buddhi from Maya. So till we escape from this Dvaita Buddhi, we should understand that though there is a dual nature, there is duality in the things which we perceive, the duality is limited only for the transactional purpose, only for the vyavahara, only for the work which you perform. Like, I am different from the book when I am reading the book and everything, but in the paramarthika, in the Paramatma's reference plane, the book, me, everything as a common substratum, which is Brahma. This feature is also something which a Jnani has and which we also should imbibe. So further, he says, किन्तु पश्यति मिथ्यैव दिङ्मोहेन्दु विभागवत् प्रतिभासः शरीरस्य तदा अप्रारब्ध संशयात्. So he gives a small introduction to one word called prarabdha here. Of course, it's been mentioned elsewhere as well, but coming to this talk, prarabdha is coming here. We all know that there are three types of karmas, right? One is the sanchita karma, the karmas which we have accumulated in the past birth, and then in this birth, one set of our karmas have started to give fruit, phala, to us, which because of which we are facing all the sorrow and joy in the current janma. So this is the prarabdha karma, because it has begun, because there is a prarambha, beginning from this birth. It is a prarabdha karma, and then there is also an agami karma for the further actions which we take up, which will result in further phalas. That is the agami karma. So these three karmas are something which are making us bound to this samsara, and to be free from this samsara, to be free from this ignorance that we are the jiva and we are a limited personality, we should overcome these three types of karmas. So how would we overcome these three types of karmas? Is in accordance to Vedanta Shastra, the agami and sanchita karma, that is the accumulated karma and the forthcoming karma, these two would get destroyed the moment we get this Atma Jnana that Brahma alone is real and we are very much a form of Brahma only, and we are not this body or the mind or the body-mind complex. So when we realize this Agami and Sanchita karma get destroyed immediately. And then the leftover is the Prarabdha karma, which we will have to face it till we leave our last breath on this world. So this is what our Sampradaya says. Vedanta Shastra also says that till we are alive, we'll have to face the prarabdha. Prarabdham pushyati vapuhu is there. Prarabdha will take you, its course will take you up and down in life. We will have to face all that with the jnana that this I am not the karta, I am not the doer of any karma, neither am I enjoyer of the fruits of the karma. Naham karta, naham bhokta. Neither I am the performer nor I am the receiver. If I could put it, that performer and receiver are not some things which are not the characteristics of the Atma. It is the Sharira mind complex, the body mind complex, the Indriyas, they have all this Karta, Bhokta, Buddhi, but the Jiva is very much the Brahman, which is neither a doer nor a receiver. So this till Prarabdha ends, because for a Jnani, once he gets this Atma Jnana, he is Jivan Mukta. He is alive so long as his Prarabdha makes him to be alive. So if Prarabdha gives him sumptuous food meal one day, he would happily eat it, and someday it would make him starve, he would be happy starving. So this is Prarabdha, and Ajnani surrenders to the Prarabdha. Prarabdha is Samarpita Sopuhu. In Manisha Panchakam, Bhagavad Padacharya says, this Jnani surrenders to the Prarabdha, faces the consequences of the Prarabdha, and because of his Jnana, the other two karmas have also been destroyed. And at the time of his death, even this Prarabdha karma ceases to exist. So none of the three karmas have the potency to give him another birth. That's what is coming out of this birth death cycle. Janana Marana Chakra. To come out from this cycle is essentially rendering these three karmas impotent without any potency. Is called the mukti or the moksha is coming out of these three karmas. So you can only come out of these three karmas once you have this Atma Jnana. As I already said, the Agami and Sanchita will be destroyed and prarabdha, you will have to face it. So he tells, even if this jnani perceives all the dual nature of this jagat, that is all pratibhashika, only illusionary. It is not in real. I'm sorry. He knows that this is not a reality. Reality is he is one with the Parabrahman or the Paramatma. He will live with this knowledge till prarabdha sanshayat, till his prarabdha is destroyed. So that's what is entailed here in this 58th shloka. In the 59th shloka, tasya tavadev chiram ityadi shrutirabravit prarabdhasyanuvrittistu muktasyabhasa matrataha. So all this, once he gets this Atma Jnana, all these things are pratibhashika. All these things, by that I mean the material object, the material universe is just illusionary for this Jnani. He knows that the real entity is within himself and it is the substratum of this whole universe itself. Tasya tavadeva chiram ityadi shrutirabravit. So this is one Upanishadic Vakya which Sureshwaracharya has drawn reference to. Sarvada mukta eva syat jnata tattva pumanasau. So this person becomes a jnani because he no longer identifies himself with the sharira, with the body. Prarabdha bhoga sheshasya sankshaye tadanantaram avidya timiratītam sarvabhasa vivarjitam ananda mamalam shuddham manovachama gocharam vachya-vachaka nirmuktam heyopadeya varjitam prajnana ghanamanandam vaishnamam padamashnute. Okay. Such a person who has surrendered to his prarabdha continues to live facing the consequences of prarabdha. So we also, as seekers of this jnana, must surrender to the prarabdha. We must strive to get this atma jnana to destroy the agami and sanchita karmas and overcome this avidya, this incorrect knowledge of me, the I being the sharira, the body. And then once we come out of that, we would be having anandam amalam shuddham manovachama gocharam. We would be experiencing an infinite bliss, a pure form of bliss which cannot be expressed through mind or even through words. Manovachama gocharam, which cannot be expressed from our mind or even through our words. So there is a famous kriti by Tyagaraja Mahaswamigal that he tells vachama gocharame, so, which cannot be described through words or by words. So vachya vachaka nirmuktam, okay, beyond the distinctions of name and form, as I said, vachya is the the object and vachaka is the name. So for example, this could be a pen and this is the vachya, and the word pen is the vachaka for it. So beyond all these names and forms, we would experience this infinite pure ananda, the bliss. Heyopadeya varjitam. Beyond all interests or uh, in eagerness to achieve something or accomplish something, beyond all such desires is this Atma Jnana. You get this Prajnana Ghanamanandam Vaishnavam Padamashnute. So such a Jnani reaches the Vaishnava Pada. So though it could be literally translated as Vishnu's Pada, but here the literal meaning is not to be taken into account. This person gets the status of Vishnu. So Vaishnava Pada means the status of Vishnu, that is, he becomes one with the Paramatma. This is what is Ajnani's characteristics as per Panchikarana Varttika. Of course, further in this Grantha, idam prakaranam yatnat jnatavyam bhagavattamaihi amanitvadi niyamair guru bhakti prasadataha. How would we get this Atma Jnana is also entailed here, because all these characteristics of a Jnani are being told for a seeker, not for a Jnani, as I already told. All these are for a person who seeks this jnana must imbibe these qualities. So this prakaranam yatnat jnatavyam bhagavattamaihi. So this prakarana or this text must be learned from a guru, and you should also be bestowed with these qualities of amanitvadi niyamair. So in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshanti rarjavam. There's some shloka that entails some qualities which a person must possess if he is serious in his pursuit of atma sadhana. They are not being arrogant, not not being very preposterous and unmeaningful, and must be peaceful, must not be of conflicted mind. Such qualities also should be there in a person who is seeking this atma jnana. Guru bhakti prasadataha. He must also have guru bhakti. He must be devoted to his guru, and from that he would get this atma jnana. Imam vidyam prayatnena yogi sandhyasu sarvada samabhyes samabhyesyet ihamutra bhoganasakta dhihi sudhihi. So Sureshwaracharya says that such a jnana will come through prayatna, only through efforts. Right? So in Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavad Padacharya gives a small example where one has to, like how one sick person has to undergo the medications and diet on his own, and he can't outsource it to another person just because the medications is medicine is bitter or something like that. Likewise, here also, by our own efforts, we will get this Atma Jnana, and we should be endowed with Vairagya and other qualities as mentioned elsewhere in the Shastra. And then we should also be mindful of one last Vakya, which I would use it as the concluding, this is anyway the concluding shloka. Lokanuvartanam tyaktva tyaktva dehanuvartanam shastranuvartanam tyaktva swadhyasa panayam kuru. So, Lokanuvartanam, that is, there are three types of vasanas, impure qualities or impurities within us. Loka vasana, Deha vasana, Shastra vasana. Loka vasana is where we would like to be good to all, try to get a good impression, create a good impression amongst everyone. So Shastras tell that, don't dwell too much upon that. Yes, to the best possible extent, don't do harm to others, never do any harm to others. But also don't go to please others and try to impress upon others and try to be in their good books. Tyatva dehanuvartanam. The next vasana is the deha vasana. Many people are very much into fitness and all those things. Shastras tell that, yes, body has to be fit. You should have a healthy body. Only then you would engage in such healthy thinking, thought process. But don't spend too much time and waste your energy and efforts in building your body, which will anyway die once. Even the loka also will go away once. And then finally, after you overcome these two vasanas, overcome the Shastra vasana, the addiction to read more granthas, to become an expert, to become a pandita in all these granthas, and come out of this fame-seeking mentality as well. And then after you come out of these three vasanas, these three impurities, Swadhyasa Panayam Kuru. Come out of this adhyasa, the main adhyasa, which we think that we are the jiva and we are the limited jiva, and we have to cross. We are a part of the samsara, and we are actually suffering the sorrows and enjoying the happiness of this samsara. This is the true adhyasa. Come out of this adhyasa is what Pujya Vartikacharya concludes in his Panchikarana Varttika, telling that come out of this incorrect thinking that you are the body, you are no longer the doer, no longer the performer, no longer the receiver of the fruits of your action. You are the Shuddha Chaitanya Paramatma Swarupa, is what Pujya Vartikacharya once again repeats. And then, of course, he has outlined some more gunas prior to these shlokas, which I think all the listeners would do good by reading this text. I thank you once again. Thank you all for this patient listening. And I would conclude my talk here. Vidyavinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekanam Vande Vedanta Tattvagnam Vidhushekara Bharatim. Dhanyavada.
Thank you very much, Abhinandji, for sharing a very interesting and insightful perspective on the Jnani from Panchikarana Varttikam. Thank you very much for making time for this session.
Thank you, Nitinji. Thank you, INDICA Moksha.
Yes, as we come to a conclusion of the symposium, it gives me great pleasure that we have been able to do this humble offering on the profound and enduring writings of Sri Sureshwaracharya ji. We are hopeful that the symposium will inspire many young Samskrita scholars and seekers, Adhyatma seekers, seekers of Shastra, to study Sureshwaracharya's writings in more depth. I once again thank all the speakers, all the Acharyas, Swamijis, everybody who participated in today's symposium and shared their excellent thoughts, shared excellent perspectives from the writings of Sureshwaracharya. I am thankful to our founder, Sri Harikaran ji, who has facilitated for us to organize such events such as this. Publish it on our INDICA YouTube channel. With this, let me conclude this symposium with a prayer. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Thank you everyone. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.